either the weight to check and see, but let's see how it is going. It says it's doing there. Let's see.
Yeah, it says. It says.
It says that for you? Okay. Okay. Let me go to my... All right. And yes, we are indeed broadcasting. So we'll get started here. Now I can close Facebook. My channel is there. Okay. So which verse are we on?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Danda Pranam. Mataji, I won't be able to speak. I won't be able to speak because he's sleeping.
Oh, it's already 9 o'clock your time. Okay. So you can text and maybe somebody can watch the text.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we on 19, Mataji? I missed a lot, but if I was following, I think we could be on 19.
We are on 19.
19, Mataji. Yata dīpo nivāta-stho.
Yata-devi nivāta-stho. All right. So let's get going after this brief prayer to the spiritual master. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here on Facebook as well as on Zoom and YouTube. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjan-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripak Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Gopremanande Hari Hari Bol. So before we go into verse number 19 from chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, if you have any burning questions about the Dham, please, please ask now.
You just tell us, Prabhu Mataji. We want to listen, that's all.
Well, we definitely missed Varshana Mataji. In the yatra, she has been a fixture on our yatra coming every year for the last 9 years, 9 times that we had the yatra. I definitely missed you. But you were there in the form of your flags. You remember you had gotten so many flags made for the yatra. So yeah, this year I took some of them and they lost all of them except for one. And they would just go there on parikrama, leave the danda. So they lost many in Puri, and then we had a replenishment. We brought out more in Vrindavan, and those were lost as well. So in the end, I was telling Prem Kishori Mataji, who was our flag in charge, that if you bring back one flag at least, I will hire you for next year. So finally we got 2, but they were so dirty that we left them there. So yeah, so we went to Puri.
I was watching the lectures on Facebook.
Yeah, for those of you who have been coming to our Puri in the previous years, this year we changed the hotel and that was a big leap.
I saw that.
So that was there. Otherwise, we went to the regular places in Puri. We went to Tota Gopinath temple, which is very famous for how the Lord will do anything for his devotees, where Tota Gopinath.
Arjun Prabhuji is also initiated.
Yes, Akshobhya Das.
Congratulations.
And yeah, we'll talk about that. momentarily, but right now we are in Puri. So yeah, so we went to Tota Gopinath, where I was saying classic demonstration of how the Lord will do anything for the benefit of the devotee. And so Gadadhar Pandit was getting old and having difficulty decorating the deity of the Lord. So the deity sat down. So that's really amazing. And I'm just imagining how the devotee might feel that you have been worshipping a Lord who's standing, and next day you go there, you remove the curtains and the deity is sitting down. That's when, it's a realization and a reminder to all of us that the deity really is God and is not, stone like that. So we went to Tota Gopinath, and of course we also went to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Bhajan Kutir there. Jatak Parvat is also there, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to mistake to be Govardhan. So we went to those two places, and then we also went to Gambhira, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes were there with intense separation. We also went, although Maharaj is not allowed to get into the Jagannath temple, we did do book distribution around it. And then, of course, in the evening, a lot of people used to go. Evening, night, early morning, several times they would go to Jagannath temple. I just went for one day, but we were lucky we got some very close, darshan.
They're not allowing inside, Mataji, where the deities are there?
Not very close. I mean, I remember 10 years ago or 12 years ago when I had been there, I had touched the deities there,
Yeah, I did too. I did the parikrama, there's deities.
And
then I touched the deities. I can never forget those days.
Right,
when my husband was there long time. 70s we went there. We were there.
Right.
We used to live in Cuttack. So we used to go every weekend. We used to go to Puri.
Yeah, so
those were the days.
Right. And then, of course, Siddhipakul, which is Haridas Thakur's, place. And we also saw the Siddhipakul tree, and also went to his Samadhi and the ISKCON temple on the other side, did Harinam on the beach as well. Book distribution was prime, always there. We also went to Dandban Gopinath, a place which is a beautiful place where Maharaj was saying that the potency of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is still there, and you can feel it when you go there. There was a lot of construction going on at that area, but we did have Krishna Katha, and that was a place where Nityananda broke the staff of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you don't need to do that." So that was, time flew by very fast. I mean, I remember just coming to Puri and not even realizing that it was time for us all to leave. And then we flew to Delhi, and then from there we went to Vrindavan. That was a very sweet ride. I noticed a lot of improvements. The roads have become very nice there. And Vrindavan is the bhav itself is very, very different. The restaurant was a different hotel. I was going to Vrindavan as part of a yatra or organizing a yatra for the first time. We were about 160 as compared to 120 or something like that in Puri. So it was a big number in Vrindavan. And so Vrindavan, we went to a lot of places. The initiation ceremony actually happened at Vrindakund, very nice and beautiful place. We also went to the village of Ashtasakhi, Tungavidya. Beautiful, the deities there, the dolls there, they're very, 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 very beautiful. We also went to Uddhavkund, and also I went to Brahman Ghat, where Kṛṣṇa, opened the mouth and showed the entire Brahman to Yashoda inside his mouth. So even that's beautiful place, very beautiful. We had Katha over there. Then we also went and visited the temples, and so there's Radha Madan temple. It's beautiful. As you will be in the middle of streets and busy streets, small houses, old houses, typical Vrindavan kind of a look, and suddenly you turn and enter that area, and there's this lofty temple and nice staircases going there. So we went to that temple, went to Radha Damodar temple. We also went to Radhika Ramnath temple. We didn't have time. We were planning to go to Guru Ghat also, but we didn't go there.
Did you go to Sakshi Gopal, Mataji?
No, Sakshi Gopal, we don't go. Actually, Guru Maharaj is not allowed in Sakshi Gopal, so we don't go there. That's Puri. And then in Vrindavan, of course, we did Govardhan Parikrama, so Shyam Kund, Radha Kund, Uddhav Kund, all those nice places. We went to Bhakti, we went to the ISKCON ashram also there. So that was, in a nutshell, quick run through of the yatra. Yeah, wish and pray that, some year all of you join. Vrindavan was a very hit, and I think it might be on our charter next year also, but I don't know. Could we skip Mayapur? So we'll have to see, because Maharaj also likes Puri a lot, so which one to drop? There have also suggestions that every year we just go to one place and focus and spend more time there than shuttling between two cities. So we're going to think about it. We have a whole year to plan for that. We did amazing kirtan, amazing book distribution, amazing prasadam, amazing, devotees. Yeah, we had a big troop coming from UK. It's nice, yeah. Monkeys were there in Vrindavan. They took away some glasses. I didn't even dare. I took 3 pairs of glasses. But, when we were out there's certain areas where there are, you will find monkey menace, not everywhere. And I kind of, just didn't take out my glasses in those areas. So nice. It was a nice, nice thing. One of the things about the Dham is that, although like you might go there and not even do anything, but we used to have, like morning classes, a morning japa circle, and then Tulsi Puja, Guru Puja, Srimad Bhagavatam class, and then prasadam, go on parikrama, come back, have prasadam, or have prasadam at that place, and then, come rest a little and then go attend a class in the evening. So it was very hectic schedule. And then, of course, because I was organizing it, so I missed most of the lectures, etc. So I'm listening now. So, but even if you don't do anything at the yatra, but the dham will have its effect on you. And one of the things is that you should just look at this opportunity, take this opportunity and be the dham. And even if you cannot be in the dham in person. And I remember that was a prayer that Guru Maharaj was doing at Uddhav Kund, and he said that, we pray that, we come to the dham every year. And even if we can't come to the dham in every year, we can come to the dham in our minds, we can come there. So that's something really worthwhile, especially, as we grow in age, might not be possible to go to the dham every year. The body might not permit us to go. I was a little bit scared of Radha Madan Mohan temple, because people had told me that there are staircases there. And it was so funny that there was a young devotee that, who was helping us with the yatra. He was sort of like a guide and errand, and he used to help us and all that. So it was so nice to see such a lithe body. He would run up the stairs and then run down all the stairs like that. It, no problems at all. And I was just looking like, oh, wow. And then, you notice that, oh, I climbed 5 steps and, the knees are hurting and all that. But it was not that bad. It was not that bad. I was especially thinking about Varshana Mataji, because, she used to come to the yatra every time. I was thinking like, what will she do? But, it's possible. It's possible, because I was having pain in my legs all the time.
I really missed it.
Yeah. So you have to now start planning for next year. All of you. Let's come there and, spend time at the dham. Yeah. So
we all seniors to have planned something.
Say that again?
We seniors should plan something.
Seniors.
Going slowly, going.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
We should plan. I wish I would go in my lifetime again, because Puri I enjoyed a lot, and Mayapur also I had been there, Vrindavan I had been there. But now I want to go after having all these Bhagavatam classes, Bhagavad Gita classes. At that time I was not that much. I was not initiated. But I did go. But now I feel that I want to go what Kṛṣṇa is permit me.
Right. And it's interesting to be reading. It's important to be reading all these things first from the scripture. Yeah. And so that's when you go to those places, you appreciate it even more. When you're there at Uddhav Kund, and you'll say, okay, that's
Shyam Kund, Radha Kund, all those things,
Right.
At that time, I don't know anything. I just went there. That's all.
Yeah.
But whatever Kṛṣṇa's plan is, Mataji, I don't know.
Yeah, that is true. So that's why Maharaj always says that, you can live in the dham in your mind. You can create a dham in your mind. That's why there's
That's
this verse, tirtha kurvanti tirthani. It says that the tirthas are important because of the saints who come and inhabit the tirth, and they bring up the vibrations of the tirth high, much higher. And then we go and bask in those vibrations. So one of the things about the tirth also is that a tirth is a place, dham is a place where you go to listen to Krishna Katha, not necessarily to see. And it's so interesting that when I was going to Radhika Raman temple, where there is the Raman temple is, the deity is very, very small. And I had seen that deity 12 years ago, and I was, thinking like, okay, and about that temple, it's like, it might close, might open, close, open. So you don't know when your chance is there, whether you'll get darshan or not. So I went there, took a circle around, there was too much of, and I got pushed out of the temple. So I came out of the temple and I was like, oh, I didn't get to see the Lord. I didn't get to see the deity. And then somebody reminded me, she said that it's not that when you go to the temple, you don't go to see the deity. You go to the temple so that the deity should want to see you. That was such a nice reminder. And then I don't know how something happened. We had to wait. I was actually going to come back sooner to offer bhoga and all that. And that's why I was in a hurry to come out of the temple. It was the last stop on our day where we visited the Vrindavan temples. And then the bus didn't come or whatever. They said, okay, now you go back again. So I went back again to the temple, and then somebody, Hema Kamble Mataji, she handed me binoculars in my hands. Because the deity is so small and it's far from where you see, and then I had those binoculars. And the deity comes so close. This was like, oh, that's such a nice idea. Next time in the yatra, we should arrange some binoculars for people to look at it.
I had been to those temples almost 20 years back, 25 years back. But till today, I remember that Radha Rani with Radha Kṛṣṇa with gopis, the Sakhis, that picture, I still remember that like yesterday I saw. And Puri Jagannath, I went inside that I did the parikrama. I still remember that. Where I stayed near Gundicha temple, there is a hotel, there we stayed. Me and another devotee came. So we did that. Mayapur, I remember all those. And Puri, I remember. Vrindavan, I remember that. That's all those memories are there for me. Till almost 25, 30 years back.
Right. And that is what I meant by living in the dham in your head.
That's true.
Yeah. So one of the things about coming from the dham is that, there should be some improvement in our devotional service. So try to bring in something extra, something new like that. Okay. And then, of course, in Vrindakund, we had the beautiful initiation ceremony where our Premmayi Shraddha-devi Dasi was born, and Akshobhya Prabhu, as well as our Bharat from ISV. He was also initiated. There were others as well from other parts. You might not know them. Yeah, Vijay Govindas was also initiated. And from India, also, Vaikunth Prabhu's wife was also initiated. So you might know them, Surabhi Kund, her name is Surabhi.
Yes, Mataji, Surabhi Kund.
Surabhi Kund, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Surabhi Govinda, our Surabhi. So now
Yeah.
Yeah. It was nice. It was nice, but worth it. Yeah. Worth it, and the mood is so different. Yeah. I also went to Banke Bihari temple last day. Actually, our Ujjwal Rasa Mataji was going to do a Poshak Abhishek, basically, which is offer the clothes to the deity. So the deity then wears it in the morning. So I was able to attend only a part of that. And I didn't get to see the deities there. And they didn't allow her to take pictures. So of the deities, but at least I was able to put my foot inside it. So that's how it is.
Nice thing to hear, Mataji. It's a blessing.
Yeah, it is a blessing indeed. It's a blessing. I don't realize that when I'm in the dham, because I'm so busy with organizing and doing everything. One of the things that the Puri hotel management told us because we had booked the entire hotel for ourselves because we didn't want them to start cooking meat and all that kind of stuff, which happens right in Puri. And so we had booked the whole full hotel for ourselves. And so the front desk manager, she said that she was very, very surprised that the whole hotel is booked and the demands on her staff is so little. Because all that we would do, we would get up early in the morning, quickly take a shower, go sit, start doing the japa. The whole day is gone like that. And in the evening when the food is served, and then you have the food, and then people rush out to go to Jagannath Mandir. So where was the time to put any demands on the hotel staff and all that? But that was good. Yeah, very good compliment that we received from them. So, yeah. So let's go. Are we ready for Bhagavad Gita? Or any other questions, any reflections that you want to share?
It's nice to hear.
You are
As if
looking
we
like
went
old, Shraddha Mataji. You get so refreshed. Your face is rejuvenating.
Yeah. Actually, away from that stress, and actually, I came back and I slept like for 44 hours nonstop, like that, with only a little break to get up and sleep. Yeah, it was number one, I had COVID. And number two, the lack of sleep. The lack of sleep was showing, but this was a special yatra for me in person, personally, because we were going to Vrindavan for the first time, and I had no experience of Vrindavan. I was scared of the monkeys and didn't know about the hotel and arrangements, and and then
hope you're feeling good now.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Definitely feel good. Yeah, I wanted some new things to be done, so I did. We were able to do that. So, and then I was also a little worried about, because some of my key team members were not able to get away from work or help me during the fag end and things like that. But then I had huge support, people coming from all kinds of places and volunteering and helping out. So that worked out very nicely. Yeah, but definitely. I think this time the Dham had the most effect, and I don't know whether it is Vrindavan that does it or whatever it is, or 44 hours of sleep, what does that? But anyway, yeah, it was a very nice experience, and I really enjoyed serving the devotees there. Each one of them so unique and so special to Krishna. So,
Mataji, great to have you, Darshan, again, Mataji. Hope you pray for us also. Very
yes,
nice to
definitely.
hear all these Dham experiences. But I really don't know when I will be able to make it. But by Krishna's mercy and
we need Krishna's mercy.
Yeah, and Srila Prabhupada books makes us to be there always. That I always feel, and the feeling of separation, right? I am not able to go there. I am not able to go there. That I think even when I see that will break. But that keep on, that thirst and the hunger is keep on increasing. That is what I'm feeling, Mataji. But I need devotees' mercy, so that I will also join you, devotees. It would be amazing. Thank you, Mataji, and happy to have you back.
I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, we missed you, Mataji. We missed the whole gang, actually. Malini Mataji, you, Maharaj, Guruma, everybody we missed during the Nityananda Prabhu's one, and any of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming up, but we missed.
Right.
Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Every year, actually, because of every year I celebrate Nityananda someplace else only. Yeah. In Mayapur, usually I've been in Mayapur, and Mayapur, it's big. Nityananda is a huge affair. It's not that huge in ISKCON, in Vrindavan or rest of the Vrindavan, other than ISKCON. But yeah. So we had
welcome back.
Yeah. We had our rounds of chances to do Ekadashi Vrat in Vrindavan. And then Treyodashi was there. So we had opportunities to have austerities, observe austerity there. Yeah. All right. So let's get going to 6.19. Is that what it is? So which chapter are we reading?
Dhyana Yoga.
Dhyana Yoga. Fantastic. Okay. So basically, chapter number 6 is of Dhyan Yogas, is basically, how you connect with the Lord ultimately through focusing your attention. And we were talking about two kinds of people on this line, right? Those who are early birds and those who are a little bit advanced. So what was the term that we were using? Anybody remember the term?
The ladder.
No, to describe these two types of people, the juniors and the seniors.
Yogaruksha, Yogaruda.
Yes. Right. So one Yogaruda is the more advanced one or the senior one, and Arud means he's climbed. That person has climbed. And Yogarukshu is, is moving
down.
Right. And then we had also talked about, who exactly is a true mystic. It's not necessary for you to give up the work that you are doing. In fact, those of us who are reading chapter number 8 in the chat, read a chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day, we notice that we notice one of the verses there, Krishna says, Tasmat sarvesu kaleshu mam anusmara yuddhacha. So he's saying that you think about me and then you fight your war. Basically, to get connected to the Lord, it is not necessary that you give up your regular practices that you're doing. And whatever varna and ashram that you're situated in, you continue to do that work, right? And then we were also talking about, where do you go to do the yoga? Secluded place, neither too high, neither too low. Put the kusha grass, put a soft, deer skin, put a soft cloth on it, and so on and so forth, right? We were talking about that. And then it was like, you focus on the tip of your nose. And we talked about that from the Shastric perspective, the tip of the nose is not this tip that I'm pointing out here. It's not this tip of the nose. The tip of the nose is, as our Premamayi Radha Mataji is pointing out, that it is between the eyebrows, right? That's where the tip of the nose is. And then we also talked about that you should have some regulation in our life, right? Don't eat too much, don't eat too little, don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little. And then text number 18, which was the last verse that we read. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he's said to be well established in yoga, right? So one of the things that we have to keep in mind is that we have to be devoid of material desires. That brings us to the verse for today, which is text number 19. It's a very, very famous verse. Yathā nivāta-stho neṅgate sopamā smṛtā yogino yata-cittasya yuñjato yogam ātmanaḥ. Yathā dīpo nivāta-stho neṅgate sopamā smṛtā yogino yata-cittasya yuñjato yogam ātmanaḥ. Yathā dīpo nivāta-stho neṅgate sopamā smṛtā yogino yata-cittasya yuñjato yogam ātmanaḥ. So let's look at the synonyms here. Yatha, as or just like. Okay? Dīpaḥ is a lamp. Nivāta-sthaḥ, in a place without wind. Vata means wind, right? Vata, kaf, pith, we talk about that. So vata is air or wind. Ni is without. Na, does not. Iṅgate, waver or flicker. Sa, this. Upamā, comparison. Smṛtā, is considered. Yoginaḥ, of the yogi. Yata-cittasya, whose mind is controlled. Yuñjataḥ, constantly engaged. Yogam, in meditation. ātmanaḥ, on transcendence. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist, whose mind is controlled, remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. Purport, huge purport. A truly Krishna conscious person, always absorbed in transcendence, is constant, undisturbed, in constant, undisturbed meditation on his worshipable Lord, is as steady as a lamp in windless place. And although the purport is a one-liner there, Prabhupada has emphasized something really deep here, which doesn't come out in the verse itself. Because if you look at the word meanings over here, it's talking about yata-cittasya, whose mind is controlled, yuñjataḥ, constantly engaged, yogam in meditation, meditating on what? On transcendence. And the word here is ātmanaḥ. And in the translation, atma can mean mind, body and soul also. So here in the translation, Prabhupada is mentioning here that he's steady in his meditation on the transcendent self, which means self means yourself, which is the soul. So a person is meditating on the soul, right? But here in the purport, what is Prabhupada saying? What's the difference? A truly Krishna conscious person, always absorbed in transcendence, in constant undisturbed meditation on his worshipable Lord, is as steady as a lamp in a windless place, right? So he's not talking about being focusing on the self or the soul or the fact that I am the soul, I am not the body. He's saying that a truly Krishna conscious person, right? And when you're truly Krishna conscious, then you'll always be engaged in transcendence. You'll always be in transcendence because your thoughts are always with Krishna all the time, right? And what do you do? What are you focusing on? You are focusing on your worshipable deity. You're not focusing on yourself. You have gone beyond that. You have progressed beyond the fact that I'm just the soul. I'm not the body. You've gone beyond that. And now you know your relationship with Krishna. You know that I'm a servant and I must worship my Lord. Like that, right? So here, what they have done in this particular verse is they have given a comparison. So there was a verse here which said, there's upamā there, right? Not the upamā that we eat. Upamā. Upamā is comparison. So upamā is, a lot of people use upamā in the poetic sense also, right? So can you give me an example of upamā? Those who are from Hindi background. Upamā alankar. How you beautify your poetry by using
Comparing. Compare.
Example. Give me an example of comparison.
Like Krishna's color is compared with clouds, that raining clouds.
Yes. Yes. More example.
Mataji, lotus feet, lotus eyes, lotus face.
Yes. Right. So these are comparisons that you're making. Or sometimes you will say, her face is like the moon. So you are comparing. The moon is very beautiful. So when you're saying her face is like the moon, you're saying the face is beautiful. So instead of saying she has a beautiful face, you'll say she has a moon-like face. Or his face is the moon. Right? So there's upamā. So there's some. So in order to emphasize or explain certain things, we sometimes use upamā or comparison. So here, what he's comparing, what are the two things that are being compared in this particular verse? I'll give you the verse again.
A lamp and the mind.
A lamp and the mind, correct, for 500 points, right? So a lamp and the mind are being compared over here, right? So basically, dhyana yoga is all about the mind, right? You focus your mind, you try to control your mind, right? In order to control your mind, first you set up a better environment around the mind. Yam and niyam. Then you know how to have the right postures. And pranayama, pratyahara, right? Like that, slowly you go towards controlling the mind. Right? But the mind will always waver. Does the mind waver for anybody? Or is it just me?
All of us.
All of us, right? And not only does it differ for all of us, actually, it becomes even more difficult for us here in Kali Yuga. And in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the very first verse where is the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam happening? Where is the plot happening in the first chapter?
Naimisharanya.
Naimisharanya. And what is happening there?
Mataji, all the sages
is
have
repeating.
actually.
All the sages are elected to that, right? And who's the head of those?
Sutta Goswami.
Shaunaka Rishi.
Right? Yeah. So Shaunaka Rishi and these sages are going to ask them 6 questions, right? And in order to answer them, then it goes on like that, right? So in the first canto, and I'm just going to bring that up, that verse also. In the first canto, first chapter, right 10 verses into the scripture itself, there's a very nice description of our life here. Because this Naimisharanya Yaga is happening because they're foreseeing that Kali Yuga is going to come, right? And so he's saying, Prayena alpaya alpa yushaha sabhya kalav asmin yoge janaha mandaha sumanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadrutaha. O learned one, in this age of iron, in this iron age of Kali, men almost always have but short lives. You're quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So he's casting the verdict over here that this is what the age is. This is the age in which we are living. We are going to be always disturbed. Can you give me some examples of disturbances that happen in our lives? No disturbances?
Losing your job.
Kids not listening, husband not listening, family problem, health problem. So many disturbance.
Our mind not listening to what
Yeah,
we
that's the mind, body not listening.
Yes.
Really, mind won't listen.
So the disturbances can come to us. Disturbances can come to us from outside, and they can also come to us from within. Right? So, so let's go to 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock, whatever time that you wake up, and then so at that time, the chances of which type of disturbance is more, outside or inside? At 4 a.m.
inside.
Inside, not outside.
And when do the outside start?
After 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, everybody wakes up, then problem starts. Outside disturbance starts.
Yeah, and what are some of the disturbances that you hear out from outside?
Cooking, this, that, taking care of other people, other work. So all those things.
Like even if you don't have anybody around
yeah.
you, even if you don't have anybody around you, don't have to cook for anybody. What are the other ways in which?
But mind thinks outside.
So not mind. I'm talking about external.
So do senses count? Because when you open your eyes, the first thing we do is see something, and that usually takes the mind somewhere. But is that external? So yeah.
That's the external thing that serves as an impetus for more to happen internally, right? How about how about the neighbors? Do they disturb you?
Here, who is the neighbors, Mataji? In America, there won't be neighbors.
What if you're trying to do? What if you're trying to
world in our phone,
say that again?
The entire world in our phone. If we see that, that's entirely disturbs everything.
Right. And so what if you're trying to do meditation in the morning, right? And the neighbor starts the car and the car is not starting. So it tries 3 or 4 times, right? And then the truck comes early in the morning to collect the garbage, right? And then the school bus comes and, so there are all kinds of, the birds start chirping as soon as the sun goes up. And of course, the sun has got its own magnetic field, which will have its effect on us. And that's why they say that whenever there are sandhyas, when the 2 different types of times are meeting, then we should specifically sit down and think about the Lord because the mind gets disturbed, right? So it's a well-known thing that the mind is going to get disturbed, right? And I have a story from Srimad Bhagavatam I'd like to read from you as to how even if you are, one of the verses in Bhagavad Gita also says that even one of the roaming senses will carry away the mind of a person who is trying to control them. One roaming senses, right? And we know enough on that. So Let me first bring that up here. And see, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. And from the, I think it's from the 9th canto. All right, sharing the screen here with you. Yeah. So this is from the 9th canto, chapter number 6, Downfall of Saubhari Muni. Right? So there's a lot of backgrounds. I'm just going to skip over there and I just want to go to the precise place where his story starts, which is somewhere after 35, 36. Yeah. Here, 39. Saubhari Rishi was engaged in austerity deep in the water of river Yamuna when he saw a pair of fish engaged in sexual affairs.
Yeah.
Thus he perceived the pleasure of sex life, and induced by his desire, he went to King Mandhata and begged for one of the king's daughters. In response to his request, the king said, "O Brahmana, any of my daughters may accept any husband according to her personal selection." So it was such a smart answer the king gave, because he didn't want to annoy a Brahmana by saying, "Hey, I don't want to get my daughter married." He just left the choice on the daughter. Saubhari Muni thought, "I am now feeble because of my old age. My hair has become gray, my skin is slack, and my head always trembles. Besides, I am a yogi. Therefore, women do not like me. Since the king has thus rejected me, I shall reform my body in such a way as to be desirable even to celestial women. What to speak of the daughters of worldly kings?" Thereafter, when Saubhari Muni became quite young and a beautiful person, the messenger of the palace took him inside the residential quarters of the princess, which was extremely opulent. All 50 princesses then accepted him as their husband, although he was only one man. Thereafter, the princesses, being attracted by Saubhari Muni, gave up their sisterly relationship and quarreled among themselves, each one of them contending, "This man is just suitable for me and not for you." In this way, there ensued a great disagreement. Because Saubhari Muni was expert in chanting mantras perfectly, his severe austerities resulted in an opulent home with garments, ornaments, properly dressed and decorated maidservants and manservants, and varieties of parks of clear water lakes and gardens. In the gardens, fragrant with varieties of flowers, birds chirped and bees hummed, surrounded by professional singers. Saubhari Muni's home was amply provided with valuable beds, seats, ornaments, and arrangements for bathing, and there were varieties of sandalwood creams, flower garlands, and palatable dishes. Thus, surrounded by opulent paraphernalia, the Muni engaged in family affairs with his numerous wives. Mandhata, the king of the entire world, consisting of 7 islands, was struck with wonder when he saw the household opulence of Saubhari Muni. Thus, he gave up his false prestige in his position as the emperor of the world. In this way, Saubhari Muni enjoyed sense gratification in the material world, but he was not at all satisfied, just as a fire never ceases blazing if constantly supplied with drops of fat. Thereafter, one day, while Saubhari Muni, who was expert in chanting mantras, was sitting in a secluded place, he thought to himself about the cause of his downfall, which was simply that he had associated himself with the sexual affairs of the fish. Alas, while practicing austerity, even within the depths of the water, and while observing all the rules and regulations practiced by saintly persons, I lost the results of my long austerities simply by association with the sexual affairs of fish. Everyone should observe this fall down and learn from it. A person desiring liberation from material bondage must give up the association of persons interested in sex life and should not employ his senses externally in seeing, hearing, talking, walking, and so on. One should always stay in a secluded place, completely fixing his mind on the lotus feet of the unlimited personality of Godhead. And if one wants any association at all, he should associate with persons similarly engaged. In the beginning, I was alone and engaged in performing the austerities of mystic yoga. But later, because of the association of fixed engaged in sex, I decided to marry. Then I became the husband of 50 wives, and in each one of them, I begot 100 sons. And thus my family increased to 5,000 members. By the influence of the modes of material nature, I became fallen, and I thought that I would be happy in material life. Thus, there is no end to my material desires for enjoyment in this life and the next. In this way, he passed his life in household affairs for some time, but then he became detached from material enjoyment. To renounce material association, he accepted the vanaprastha order and went to the forest. His devoted wives followed him, for they had no shelter other than their husband. When Saubhari Muni, who was quite conversant with the self, went to the forest, he performed severe penances. In this way, in the fire at the time of death, he ultimately engaged himself in the service of Supreme Personality of Godhead. O Maharaj Parikshit, by observing their husband progressing in spiritual existence, Saubhari Muni's wives were also able to enter the spiritual world by his spiritual power, just as the flames of a fire cease when the fire is extinguished. So I'll stop here and invite you for your thoughts and comments on what we read.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, this is very similar to Bharat Maharaj's story, because he also got, connected with deer and all. And they, both of them, I think the similarity is that both of them are doing austerities alone, without the association of devotees. And when you're doing it alone, even when you're reading alone, without any guidance, you feel whether you're going in the right direction, whether you're able to understand or not. So doing it alone is also boring, plus I don't think you reach anywhere. And similarly, when you sit with the devotees and you read Brahma Samhita, like how we do in the yatra, when we sit and read a chapter, chant we do together, it's a different feeling altogether. The concentration level is much higher. The other day, I was reading something in Srimad Bhagavatam, and when I read the shloka, I didn't have any feelings. But when I read the meaning, then immediately I remembered that, oh, Maharaj had made us read this, the Chaitanya, this thing we read, the Mangalacharan of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it was part of that verse. So immediately, it struck me, because I had read it together with the devotees. So the remembrance came to me. So this is what I felt, that you should do it together. Otherwise, fall down can happen any moment,
Exactly. The association of devotees. Very, very important. And thank you so much for sharing those excellent points. I also see a hand up, Lakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. So with respect to Saubhari Muni, he will be doing he was doing his meditation under the water, where there would be actually no disturbance. That's why they go to Himalayas and all under the water and everywhere. But even then, just and fish, right? We usually think that, oh, there is no disturbance at all. Even I want to go there and sit, alarm say, and do bhakti. But it is not that. Even if we go in this mindset to Mayapur and get settled there, the way we do bhakti, it might not be as expected level. Actually, what we are thinking, we might not be able to do. But maybe I will think that, oh, if I go to Vrindavan now, then I will become the first class expert devotee now. After that, I am in California. That's why I'm always in this in this material world. But it is all about our consciousness. And as you said in Bhagavad Gita 2.2nd chapter, that any slight thing we are whenever we do bhakti, it is like we are walking on the knife. Anytime we will get hurt. We should be very careful when we walk. That is what I heard from acharyas and shiksha gurus. So that is what I see here also. Hare Krishna.
Right. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham. Bhakta Bala says that every step there is danger of falling down. Surbi Govinda Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yeah, I had a question. So did is it
Saubhari
Muni and Bharat Maharaj, did they have gurus, or are these just ascetics that didn't come from a lineage? I just wondered.
I don't know. They do talk about the lineage in the earlier part of the chapter, but I don't recall, how you hear about Sandipan Muni being the guru for Kṛṣṇa or others having a guru. I don't hear about guru as such for either one of them. For Bharat Maharaj, Bharat Maharaj, of course, was the son of Rishabh-dev, so he had heard from his father. But other than that, not like we have gurus.
So then that would be a problem, right? In terms of nobody to chastise or correct.
Exactly.
Right.
Nobody to chastise, nobody to cry. Yeah. So, so one of the interesting thing that this particular verse, and so we saw, and you gave us examples of how the mind can waver, and then in this Kali Yuga, we know that it is amplified even more from the verse that we read from Bhagavatam, first 1.1.10, where he's saying that above all, always disturbed. We're always going to be disturbed. So one thing that we have to keep in mind is to be aware that there will be turbulences, right? So I remember when I was flying back from India to USA, the captain came, and on the announcement system, and he announced, and he said that we are expecting to meet some turbulence as we take off, and then we will meet some turbulence on the way. That's all he said. I was thankful that he told us, but what he didn't tell us was how many hours of turbulence it's going to be. It was a 16-hour flight from Bangalore to San Francisco, and I had like 13 hours of turbulence on the plane.
Wow.
It was like so. Then I was just thinking that it was a very physical turbulence which was there, but for us to also keep in mind that there will always be turbulence, and the turbulences can come from. So from where, like if I'm trying to do devotional service, my question is from where can the turbulences come? But I'll hold on to that thought because I see Chaitanya Priya Mataji has raised her hand. So maybe she has a question or a comment.
Mataji, I was also thinking that all these rishis or these people who do so much austerities, whenever they want to detach, they suddenly get detached. I mean, and it doesn't happen with us. Like if we keep watching Facebook and we keep watching Bollywood, and suddenly one day we want to get detached and remember the personality of Godhead, it's actually impossible for us. In fact, we are trying to forget whatever we have watched earlier. We're trying to do Cheto Darpan every day. So how does this happen to them? Like suddenly,
Abhyasa yoga yuktena. Yeah. Chapter 8, Abhyasa yoga yuktena cetasa nānyagamina. Abhyas, with practice, it'll come. And the good thing about the devotional services is that whatever little devotional service that you do, even if you don't see the immediate effects of it, it all adds up. It all add up. And as Guru Maharaj says, the change is imperceptible. We don't know that the change is happening, but it'll happen. Is it the strength coming? Yes, it is coming. Slowly, it is building in you. So that one day you'll be able to. And and that is why it takes us back again to that thing on association. That if at all you have if at all I have just one person who's going to turn and say, hey, what are you doing on Facebook? So to stay alone with your mind is the most dangerous thing that we can do to ourselves. That's why association of devotees is so important. So, Mataji.
Yeah, so following on Mataji's point about abhyasa, and the thing is, even with a lot of practice, the munis fell because the vairagya, detachment to things hadn't progressed adequately, obviously, right? So abhyasa and vairagya are the practices of the ascetics, but they're not complete because even if they keep practicing and they keep detaching, the heart is still, it's a mental process, I think. And so the heart is still not like clean, the way that devotional service and chanting the Maha Mantra is actually cleansing of the heart. Right. It's not intellectual. So I was just thinking that, there's a big distinction in that as well.
Yes, a very good point. So in the case of Subari Muni, what was the reason for the fall down, right? After all, you have gone underneath the water. If you're staying underneath the water, you're pretty powerful. How long can you stay underneath the water? If we remember we went to Radha Kund, and there they were saying, okay, you hold on to the bars, you close your nose, and you do touch 2 times and you come out. And like, even that, you do that like that, right? So Barimuni is pretty powerful, and he's gone, many, many feet underneath the sea. So while he was doing these penances underneath the sea, one day Garuda came, and Garuda eats fish, right? He's a bird, he eats fish. So Sobari Muni interfered in that, and he gave shelter to the fish, preventing Garuda from having his food. Now Garuda is a Vaishnava. So he did that Vaishnava aparadh. And so through the fish only, he got the curse that, okay, so now you're doing with the fish, this fish itself is going to bring your downfall. And that's what happened, right? But again, 2.40 of Bhagavad Gita says that neha vikrama nasasti, that even if you have done a little bit endeavor in this path, it won't go waste. So after he had indulged so many, like 50, if you marry 50 princesses, you don't even think that they're going to fight among themselves. They are sisters. And they fight over the same man. Life must have been pretty miserable for him. And, after some time, he realizes that, even having 50 women around you, the satiation is not there. And so he got detached from material enjoyment. And since he had done enough of good things in the past, they came back again. And he was able to go into vanaprastha and leave. And go back onto his own path. So one of the things to also remember is that this nice example that they have given of, the lamp, the deep will not flicker, right? In a place where there is no air. Neṅgate, na iṅgate. Iṅgate means to flicker, na will not, right? And a nivāta, where there is no air. So the first thing that we have to keep in mind is that, like, for example, there is Diwali, right? You put a lot of lamps in the festival of Diwali. There are some lamps, and you put the lamps outside also. The ghee lamps are put outside, they're inside, they are in the altar, they are in your prayer rooms, right? And most often, more often than not, we see that the lamps which are put outside, they get extinguished very quickly because there is air around them. And the lamp which is inside your the altar, for example, won't get extinguished because it is there. And sometimes people want to have the light, the whole night. They will say, okay, this is Diwali, and if the light is there the whole night, Lakshmi will come and all that. So keep on putting oil inside it and make sure that it doesn't get there, right? And so, first of all, like I said, that you should have knowledge that there will be turbulence. So have the knowledge about the turbulence like that. And do not, do things that will add up to the turbulence. Like in the case of Saubhari Muni, don't do things like Vaishnava path. Have to be very, very careful about that, right? And sometimes the turbulence will come and we get swayed by the turbulence because we do not have a higher goal, right? If our goals are still on the level of the material plane, which is a lower level, right? That's all that I'm trying to get, which a Lexus car or, a mansion of $300 million or whatever. If those are my goals, right, that I will get affected by all the material disturbances. Some king in some country gets shot and I'll think about the price of the stock and the real estate and what's going to happen to me and all that kind of stuff, right? On the other hand, if my focus and my aim and goal in life is a much higher goal, so most of the times, our lamp is going to flicker for lack of a better goal. Our mind is going to flicker because we don't have a better goal. So there was a man, a lot of people used to say bad things. They would abuse him, use bad words, make fun of him and all that. He was very, very agitated by that. So he went to the king and he complained to the king about, like, these are all the men and they're doing these kind of things to me and you should do something about it. So the king said, okay, bring a pot of oil and let the pot be filled with oil right to the brim. And so he gave that pot to the man and he said, now take this pot and you circumambulate the palace, go around it once and make sure that not a drop of the oil should fall on the ground. And this is a vessel which is filled till the brim with oil. And if even if one drop falls, I will chop off your head. So this man is like, agitated. He's like, I came here to complain and now he's giving me this punishment, right? So anyway, what can he do? The king has asked you to do. So he takes that vessel and he starts walking one step at a time. He walks across the whole palace and then finally he comes back to the king. So the king says, okay, so what's the status? He said, well, not a drop of oil fell from this vessel. This is what it is. So he said, okay, so now you tell me that as you were going around the palace, What did the men say? So he said, nobody said anything to me. The king said, well, I had actually asked all of them to say a lot of bad things about you, to say a lot of things, and they were all saying bad things to you. But since your focus was on that pot of oil and that not a drop of oil should fall from them, you did not even hear the others. And that is why we see how Haridas Thakur, his focus was completely on the chanting. So even when the whirlwind of a prostitute came into his quarter, right, he was able to handle that. Right? So we need to have some sort of a focus in our life. So for a candle to light and to glow, right? Or for a lamp to glow, what do you think is required? What is a lamp need? Come on, you have put lamps in your homes, right? You do that puja every day. What are the things that a lamp needs?
Little wind, little air.
You need some air, yeah.
Ghee or oil or something.
You need ghee and oil, right? You need a wick, right? So for a lamp to glow, so if we were to now compare our devotional service to be a lamp, or your devotional service to glow, what do you think is the oxygen? What do you think is the oil for you?
Devotional service.
Chanting.
Yeah, a little bit more precise, yeah. Chanting, association of devotees. You all had said, right, earlier, that for my devotional service to continue to glow, if I try to go down the sea and try to do things on my own, then I cannot, right? I need to have the guidance, like, for a lamp, when the wick is going slowly, it's getting burned, somebody has to push it and bring it up so that it continues to glow. You need some guidance. So you need a spiritual master. You need your practice. You need so many things, right? Now, when there is a candle, so we said that in order for a lamp to glow, we need air, right? So, but when I blow a candle, I'm giving so much of air to the candle. So why does it get extinguished then?
Say it again,
So what I'm saying is that a candle needs air, right, to burn. If you remove all the air, then it won't get the oxygen. It'll extinguish.
It will stop.
So I'm saying that when I blow on a candle, I'm giving it so much of air and so much of oxygen there, right? So why does the candle get blown up? Why does the candle get extinguished, or a lamp get extinguished if I blow air on it?
That's a surprise. Yeah.
The right amount of wind is required.
So too much of wind. But what is it that this wind does? What does this blowing, that extra supply of air that I give, what does it do to the candle?
It has oxygen in that.
Yeah. But why does it not help then in the lamp in blowing?
It sways the lamp.
It is what?
Sways the lamp, right? Like the lamp sways, it doesn't stay focus.
Yeah, so it can sway, but why does it get extinguished?
We don't know how to do it, Mataji.
What happens when you blow on a candle, right? For birthday parties and all that, we blow on the candle, right? So when you blow on the candle, what happens is that the sudden rush of air, what it does is that it brings down the temperature. So there is a point, a temperature for every item. There is a combustion point, right, where at which it starts to burn. So if you sudden gush of air that you flow on it, what it does is that cool air is coming compared to how it is at that point. So this cool air brings down the temperature, right? and then also in a candle or even in an oil. How it burns is that, with that heat, the oil also vaporizes, and that vaporized form of the oil catches fire like that. Similarly, candle, the wax also vaporizes and it catches the fire. So when you push the air very quickly on a candle or on a lamp, what you're doing is you're bringing down the temperature, and at the same time, all this nice fuel vapor which was there in the air, that fuel vapor is also going to go away, right? So keep that in mind, that this is what the external disturbances in our life also do to our devotional practice. That whatever little fuel that we have vaporized, that is going to get sucked away and blown away. So what we really need is how you see in a lantern. The lantern also has got a light inside it, but it is well and nicely protected around you. And our protection starts early in the morning, where we arm ourselves. Where we arm ourselves with our devotional and our morning practice. And it's very important to do the morning practice, because then that will fortify us to handle all the disturbances that are going to come and get thrown at us from various angles, sometimes from outside and sometimes from inside. And that's why in the previous verse they were saying, the inside things are coming because of material desires. That's when the verse previous to this, they were saying, you should have no material desires. Everything that you do should be done for Kṛṣṇa only. And you can see how much of disturbance Arjuna was in, right? He first said, Senior Ubhyor Madhye Tatham Sthapyam Achyuta. So Achyuta, please bring the chariot and put it in the middle of the two armies, right? He commanded the Lord and Lord did it. But then when he sees his near and dear people, right? The material attachments, they grow. And then we see Arjuna, the mighty warrior, his hand is shaking, the Gandhi is going to fall down. He says that I have fever and all that kind of stuff, right? Because he had material desires. And that same Arjuna, after he listens to all the Bhagavad Gita, he goes and does the same thing that he was so afraid of doing, because now he does it for Kṛṣṇa. Now he's fortified. He has been provided the right amount of fuel, the right amount of oxygen that is required to keep his devotional service to Kṛṣṇa glowing. So that's what we should do. And as you all pointed out, devotee association, guidance of a spiritual master, and regular practice, these are very, very important for us to do. Otherwise, our lamp will also iṅgate, it will flicker like that. Okay. So I'll stop now here and open up for any further questions or comments. Anything that you are going to focus on more now?
Mataji, I really like the analogy of you said that the external forces has that coolness which extinguish the lamp, right? So when the external situation come, we remember to pray Kṛṣṇa to protect us by not swaying or not extinguishing our internal Kṛṣṇa bhakti. So that was a very good analogy, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Good to see you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. And also, like when Saubhari Muni, after he married 50 princes and got 5,000 sons, and then he went to Vanaprastha. But even after that, it's like Swalpa Abhyasya Dharmasya Trayato Mahato Bhayat. But apart from that, right, how merciful is Kṛṣṇa, right? If somebody leaves us just for 2 minutes while we are talking to them, or while we are with them in a relationship, we feel like, oh, that's all. Hereafter, I will not turn my face towards you. But could see Kṛṣṇa's mercy in that. He got Saubhari Muni also into spiritual world along with his wife. That is amazing, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, that is true. And also, more than Kṛṣṇa, we are there separated from Kṛṣṇa to a certain extent. We miss Kṛṣṇa, but more than we miss Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa misses us. And that is why when we take one step in devotional service, he takes 10 steps towards us, because he's so eager. Yeah. As you read the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where we find the story of Gopa Kumar, who's meandering throughout this material universe, going from one planetary system to another planetary system, and finally he crosses the material, goes to the spiritual Vaikuntha, and then finally to Golok, Vrindavan, where he meets Kṛṣṇa. And when Kṛṣṇa sees him, he hugs him and he says, "Why did you take so long?" So that's Kṛṣṇa intensity.
Yeah, on that context, I remember our Ramayana, right? Sita will be there in Lanka, in Ashokavana, and Rama is the one who will fight, who will do everything. Sita will just, always she has the confidence, yes, my Rama will come and he will take me. And she will be in Ashokavana. She will not do anything more great, but all Rama would do, and he take everything, and he will cross the ocean and come and take Sita Mata. Wonderful, Mataji. Amazing to be in this association. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, this is the best thing that Prabhupada has done, translated the books for us to read. And yeah, and especially when you go to Vrindavan and you see ISKCON, and so nicely kept. It's like a shining jewel, the Krishna Balram temple. Very nicely
Did you
kept.
go to Mayapur, Mataji? Or you didn't go?
No, I came back.
Okay. Because Narasimha temple they have inaugurated, right? So
They
it's just
inaugurated that. Yeah.
okay.
I was just telling my daughter. My daughter works for Cushion and Wakefield company, Wakefield and Cushion company, and I was just listening to the one of the YouTube videos on the nursing home temple establishment, and so it's the same company that worked on building the nursing home wing of the temple, and I was just thinking that how lucky that company is. That for them it's a business. They are not, but this is known as agyat sukriti. Sometimes people ask, like, what is agyat sukriti? Agyat sukriti is agyat. They do not know. But somebody else from looking far can tell that, everybody, right from the top of the company to all the engineers that were involved, project managers who were involved, are going to get a part of the benefits that they were instrumental in establishing the temple of Nrsimhadev. And same also applies to when you do anything bad. Everything from the top of the company down to the lowest will take part of that. And same applies to the king also. That if the king is, if the citizens are bad, then the king gets 1/6 of their share of sinful reactions, like that. So for a company, the CEO is the king of the company, so he also takes care of that. So we have to be very careful of what we're doing in this material world. And again, it's all about being Krishna conscious in everything that you do. So that's why we have to constantly check.
We had a fundraiser for this Narasimha temple for Mayapur. Remember 2 years back, there were 2 representatives who came from Mayapur, and we helped raise so much.
All temples, this temple also did.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. I was listening to the lecture. They have brought marble from Vietnam and from Spain and from South America, and how
Italy,
much
Brazil. Yeah, I could see how Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur envisioned, like, we should build all luxurious temples so that all preaching and people will be more attracted to come to the temple. That was given life in all these temples, especially in ISKCON.
Right.
They showed everything, all the top chandeliers and everything. It was that
the
demigods around, and that was very beautiful. And they controlled the traffic very nicely, Mataji. That was very good. They did manage too much crowd, but they did very good.
Yeah, Kṛṣṇa likes organized.
Yeah,
organized things, organized religion, organized life, organized books, everything. Yeah. Anything else before we call it a day on this one? I'm happy to be back with all of you.
Yeah, we are so happy you're back, Shraddha Mataji.
We are happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mataji. See, you confused me so much today because long time we didn't have class. I was lost. Totally I'm lost, Mataji.
Okay,
I don't know what
wanted
happened to
something-
me.
Yeah, I wanted to check something really quickly. Are we changing the time this weekend?
Yeah, on
Yeah, it's
Sunday.
Sunday.
Spring forward.
To spring forward, right? So
Yeah.
daylight savings for 2024, March 10, right? So
Yeah.
so our clocks will move back, move forward. Actually,
move forward.
By an hour. And
Move forward.
so for those in India,
1 hour move
Just
forward.
just half
So
an
you can
hour.
keep one.
Earlier.
It will be
Yeah.
just half
That's
an hour.
all.
Half an hour and flip, right?
Yeah, like
Our
12 and a
class-
half, but it's easier just to think of it as half an hour. So they are
Thank you
ahead
very
by
much,
that.
Mataji. I will take a leave.
Right. So our class starts at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. So for them, it will be starting at 7 p.m. in the evening. Those who are in India. None of you are in India, but just mentioning because people do attend it from India.
Oh, for Sunday, right? You're
For Sunday.
saying, yeah.
The
Thank
rest
you,
of us don't
Mataji. I'm
bother.
leaving.
Yeah, the clock will flip automatically.
Mm.
All right, then I'll take your leave.
Hari bol. Thank you, Shraddha Mataji.
Thank you.